Warning: the following audio may contain coarse language and other materials that may not be suitable for a younger audience. The opinions expressed in this audio are solely those of the speakers involved. These conversations may contain spoilers for current media such as games, comics, movies, television shows, and more. Grown Geeks makes no claim to ownership of the various media discussed, simply the opinions expressed. Listener discretion is advised.
That is our new little setup.
Okay, so that is new. I was like, when did we have SpongeBob narrating the warning?
Yeah, that was something fun to play with. And got to keep it interesting, man. Gotta have some cool stuff here. So, all right, Jeffrey telling us he'll be joining us here in just a minute, but in the meantime, what's going on, people? How y'all doing? Welcome. It is Wednesday. We are Grown Geeks. This is Weigh In Wednesday. You are awesome for being here. What's going on with your tie?
Everything, man. Just had my birthday. So I'm now the big
birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
Big 35. Thank you.
So what number is this?
35.
35. 30 live. That's what it is. It's 30 live. 30 live. That's how we gonna call that.
I love it. And what about you, man? What have you been up to?
I have been, as always, Jeffrey already getting into his cast. Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Oh, I've already.
Can I tell you, I had like a whole theme for what I wanted to do with this, and that proved way harder.
Really?
Than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Like when I tell you my theme and my breakdown, you'll understand why it was difficult. I'm telling you, brother.
So,
yes. Tonight we are talking THUNDERCATS for FanCastIt.
To Jeffrey's comment, I had a friend who made that for me and then shared it with a bunch of my friends. So I kept getting it over and over again. He's talking about my profile picture now.
Yeah, that was let me see if I can, because they don't have context for that, and that needs so much context.
I could send it to you direct.
No, I will pull that bad boy up and get that shown so folks can see what I saw. And I was like, what in the world? That was something else. Oh. Gary Busey as Snarf. See, that's kind of what we're talking about. And we have a full cast set up. We're going to be, for those of you who are joining us, I love that. No CG, just him in a cat suit. I'm with it. That would make for interesting television right there. I
was wondering why you didn't have him in the initial lineup of who you wanted to cast.
Yeah, that was and it's kind of crazy because with Snarf is going to be one of those characters that is going to be very people are going to have two minds about it. Either he's going to go the way of the Jar Jar Binks, where people are automatically just going to be like, no Snarf, I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he was such an irritating character in the cartoon when we were kids. And we didn't mind as much, but now that we're a little older, you don't necessarily want like Snarf.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think the reason why people hate Jar Jar Binks was not because he was a bumbling idiot. It's the fact that he was so fucking lucky.
I mean, there's there's a lot of points of contention for why and what works and what could be. Maybe there was, some future thoughts regarding it. Who knows? Lucas has gone to say one thing, and it could be this, could be that. I don't know. But I do know that when you talk about a character like Snarf, and I was actually having a conversation. Get this. I was having a conversation. I'm going to give them their official shout out. I was having a conversation today with Will. Will Parker was at the house earlier today. We were hanging out, chit-chatting, and I had picked up some things. He had picked up some things for me. As we always do, we're always geeking out about different things. So he brought me the Atom from Justice
Very nice.
League, and I have an official Batman pop from the Batman. I'm a Superman guy, but Batman is still the shit. Like, I'm not gonna hate on Batman as a character.
Batman's one of Superman's friends, so
right, best friend. So, and it's like yeah, right, plot armor. Like, he's extremely lucky, but I think to the point of the plot armor, a lot of that could have been simply because if the true story as the way it was supposed to go, maybe he's supposed to be a secret Sith Lord. There's, that's a rumor mill here and there. And, maybe he was just going to be something different later on. But, you have these characters in movies and things like that. And with Snarf, he's one of those people that, like, the way he talks, his dialect, if you will, is very unique, very interesting. And I think that's going to turn a lot of people off. And so you have him set where it's like he has a phrase, "Oh no, Lionel, don't go down that path. It's scary." Snarf, snarf. And having to say that at the end of every statement's going to get real old real quick.
Not if it's cast by Cat Williams. That's who I was going to put as Snarf.
Okay. You know what? We may just, if we got time, you want to throw an extra character, we will maybe, I will just make a note to self here. What about Snarf? And I don't know, but I think, like, when we saw the Masters of the Universe reboot, see, now I am choosing a side. Like me, I have no problem with Jar Jar Binks personally. The way they kind of dumbed the character down even more, well, and I won't say dumbed down. He had such a minor role in the second and third that it was just like they didn't want him speaking. They didn't want him being a part of it, really. And it was because of the backlash. And I don't want somebody to come out here and be Snarf. Everybody hate the character. But it is, I am completely okay with Snarf being there. I figured he would be something more CGI. And he didn't necessarily have to talk. Just because it's that weird place of, like, why is Mickey Mouse a mouse, but he has a pet Pluto? If Pluto's a dog and all the animals are anthropomorphic, then why is the dog a dog, but Goofy is a dog, but not a dog? It's it's like I have problems with Kevin Hart as Snarf. Okay, I'm making all the notes. So we got Cat Williams, we got Kevin Hart. Okay, heard. I will come up with someone for it. You know what I'm saying? Jared Carmichael, we'll let him do different voices, and he can be everybody we want him to be as Snarf. There's my pick. But it's also one of those things like he's not exactly in the same position as a Squanchy, where the word is a verb, like Smurfs. You know what I'm saying? That was Smurfing awesome. I'll Smurf you or whatever. Oh wow, this is a kid's show talking about Smurfing people. But it's like you have that part of it. So it's not like he's snarfing this or snarfing that. It's just something weird he says at the end of his statement. So it's going to be, yes, Kevin Hart does love money, and so it's. I mean, it could work. You can definitely do. There we go. Snarf. I am with it. It works, and I could be okay with that. Roy, that's actually not a bad idea. Hey,
don't run in there, Lionel.
Snarf. Wait a minute. No. That is where's her comment? I don't see it, but it's here somewhere because I can see it in the group. I want to say hello, Cedric Danielle. If you have a moment and you want to hop in and talk, I know I'm putting you on the spot. But Miss Danielle is actually an author, and we're going to bring her on right around the time where she has her own graphic novel. She's a writer, and when her series is released, We're gonna bring her on, and she's gonna talk about it. She's gonna tell me. I saw some of the early images. It's very awesome, and I cannot wait. So please, 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 anything you want to comment, say, or add in, go ahead and throw it there. But real quick, while I'm still thinking about it, because my ADD will act up and I will forget. I just want to share this birthday angel for everybody because you have to see what we saw to know why we're talking about this nightmare fuel. And it is like, that is Ty as an angel. And I immediately thought of Bayonetta and was like, yep, I need to put on my heels and take care of this because no, sir.
Yeah, so my friend made that and then sent it to a bunch of people to send it to me for my birthday. And I am now a viral nightmare fuel.
Yes. And so everybody go like this so we can get it up, make it public. He'll, go like this. This is on Ty's page. Be sure to check it out. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. And it is terrifying to see.
It's funny you say that because I had someone was like, that's the creepiest angel I've ever seen. I was like, aren't they all?
Let's see. And see, there we go. Oh, that is one. Okay, well, you're working. We're not gonna stop you from working. She says that she is working, but we are gonna get the exclusive. We will get it first. Grown Geek. First ones to tell you about it. And I'm so excited for what she's gonna do. It looks really, 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 really good. What I saw, some posters. Oh wow, we have entered
Screenception
right there.
Yes,
that threw me off. Let me drop that before Jeff comes on. I don't want to make him dizzy. There we go. There we go. What's going on, man?
That shit like Spaceballs.
Right. This is now. Where are we at?
In the movie.
Right. We've arrived at now, sir. This is happening right now. Then was before. We haven't got to that yet. So that is interesting. So yeah, tonight's show, FanCastIt. As we do last week, normally second Wednesday is our FanCastIt episode, and third Wednesday is our free show. But there was some scheduling conflicts last week, so we went ahead. We did our free show last week, and we brought FanCastIt to this week. So this week's show is FanCastIt, where we cast a different show. We a different movie, a show, a reboot, something that we want to see brought to the forefront. Or something that already exists that we want to see, redone. Maybe make it more modern. Bring out, something for current audiences, whatever the case may be. And we will normally pick, 4 or 5 actors, maybe a director, just so that we can, have a very clear idea of what it is we're trying to cast. And my pick was THUNDERCATS. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, go back and check those out because we've done Metroid and we've done Back to the Future. And Back to the Future I thought was really, really fun. That was such a great episode. And Metroid, man, y'all came up with some amazing selections for that. So I am very curious to see what you guys think about my picks for these. So for THUNDERCATS, I decided we're going to cast the main THUNDERCATS, the main roster. So Lino, Chitara, Tigra, Panthro, and Mumra. And for those of you who've been watching, you may see that there's a little bit of a theme happening each time. I am actually sticking with my theme. Pretty sure Jeff is sticking with his theme. Ty, I never know what he's going to pick, but I always like his selections. I haven't figured out what your theme is yet. And so we're gonna get into these. Let me make my little mark here. So we've got a timestamp just because it's helpful. I found that having my timestamps is a big deal. So actually, we're gonna chit chat for another 30 seconds just so I can have it at the 15-minute mark. That's cheating a little bit, but I will say, actually, you know what? I know what I will do. We will quickly promote FrameMasters here in Covington, Georgia. FrameMasters is the company that did my glasses. These, Ty, you were asking about these glasses. So I have my headphones on tonight because my glasses are only at 40%. And Tom was like, did you just say your glasses are at 40%?
I did.
Yes. These glasses are actually, you can see, oh, wow, it looks like I'm real blind. These are actually my Razer Bluetooth glasses. I have my personal prescriptions put inside the glasses along with a blue light filter because I'm always at my computer. And that was actually done by FrameMasters here in Covington. And for the entire month of for the entire month of March, FrameMasters is doing a 50% off for anyone who uses the code GrownAGeeks.
Oh, that's dope.
And so we have an unofficial sponsor. I thought it was really cool that they said they would hook us up and do that for us. And having that 50% off is really, really cool. So I want to find my sponsor. There it is. I made a boom. Let's pull that up. Let me move that over here.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead, even though I don't have a time frame. I got this open stocks headset, and the bone induction technology is just fantastic. Like, you got your ear still clear, but it's still giving you perfect sound. It's got noise cancellation, so you can hear me pretty crisp. Yeah,
that actually does sound really good. That does sound really good because the bone induction, like I like the induction, and anything that doesn't like block out other ambient sound is a real big plus for me. You know, if I decide I want to use them while I'm at work or anything like that, being able to hear around me, there's still like a safety issue part of it. And so that's a big deal. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. FrameMasters eyewear. They are in Covington. Use code GrownAGeeks for 50% off select frames and lenses. But I can tell you that there are some premium styles available. See store for details. Some exclusions apply. That's the full little disclaimer part. And they are right off Industrial Boulevard. Right there by the Hazel brand Walmart. So if you're in the Covington area, need some glasses, go see FrameMasters, go ask for AD, let them know about the promo. That's the March 2023 promo, 50% off complete frames and lenses. They do the eye exams there, the whole nine. So shout out to FrameMasters. So let's talk about Thundercats.
Oh,
Thundercats. Oh. So do we have to figure out a way to decide who's going to go first. Like we have to roll a 20-side die or something. And
this was your pick. I think you should lead.
Okay. I have no problem with leading. So with this one, I'm going to start with Lionel. I think the entire movie kind of is based around who that character is and his story and watching him grow and improve and things like that. So I wanted someone who had I wanted them to look somewhat naive, but I wanted to believe that this person could also be the leader and be believable as the leader. But somebody that kind of had to grow into that role. For all of my characters, my theme was finding actors and actresses from the regions where that particular big cat exists.
Ooh.
Trying to kind of keep it true and find someone. It would give me the diverse cast. I always like having a very diverse cast. And even though there were a couple of people that I wanted to pick for some of these roles, they may come up and just be in conversation. Especially for Chitara, there was a lot of different people that came to mind for Chitara. But I kind of had to decide on somebody specific. But for Lionel, India, Kumal Nayar, Kutherpali from Big Bang Theory. The kid's already got a ton of hair when you watch the show. Now, he's not a big guy, but anytime you watch Kutherpali and you see him, like when Kutherpali is drunk, he's got that personality. He opens up. It's gonna be weird having him typecast as Kutherpali from the duration, 12 years he was on the show, all those seasons. But Kumal is a fine actor, and I think he's gonna. If you listen to him talk, if you see him in an interview when he's not playing Kutherpali, totally different person. And I think it would be fantastic for the role of Lionel. And of course, wanted to keep it in that same realm. I did look at a few of the Bollywood stars out there, like, you know, one of the guys from RRR, like, you know, big muscular guy. And I even thought about, like, you know, doing an older Lionel and a younger Lionel and like where that would fall in the story. I didn't want to overthink it, because I absolutely would overthink it. So hold on, let me not overthink this one. But I thought Kumail Nayar would be like a fantastic selection. And I think he would give a little bit of the nuance to the character Lino that we typically don't get, you know, because he's basically a child in an adult's body. When they do that little hyperspace sleep thing, he just comes out matured, but he hasn't matured in his brain. So needed someone that could kind of fill both roles. But I didn't want him to like suck. So I wanted to get a good actor that could do it. Come on, Nayar.
Okay. I'm very curious. So I can absolutely see him covering the naivety, the young-minded, trying to grow. As far as a leader and a fighter, that's kind of where I'm curious how he would do, because I haven't seen anything that kind of showcases what he could do with that.
But I mean, my only argument to that is Kumail Nanjiani. Eternals. You put anybody on the right workout plan before, Jeff, you're muted, by the way. You put anybody on the right workout plan ahead of time, they're actors. They can act, and he can do some action.
Even in Eternals, which by all means not going to shine in his performance, it was never I don't say vicious, but ferocious fight. Yeah, he was sniping. That's what he was chilling.
Very playful.
Yeah.
It was still very like the humor in this. It's like, yeah, we know you got the muscles, but you don't get to just be like the efficient, strong fighter. You have to also infuse that with humor. And like, is that something that how much of that do you want to see from Lionel? You know what I mean? How much do you want to see him like be serious? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like in the moments where he's not like wielding the sword and like they're just chilling and all that, he's kicking it with the crew on the little battle tank or whatever. That makes sense. But does he have the ability to flip that switch to the ferocious side? Like you said, he's an actor. Maybe he does. It would be interesting to see.
I believe that he would be able to do it.
He's the room to stretch. I feel like that's a character that is very hard to like for people to just not see you as.
Oh yeah,
and so
absolutely.
Maybe doing something like this would be good, because then it would just be like, okay, this is
that'll be his breakout role. That'll
shock to the system,
right? And I think like we already have the benefit. I mean, on the one hand, you have the benefit of just the automatic nostalgia, given that we're coming out and we are doing Thundercats. So you've got automatic nostalgia. That's a built-in audience to a degree right there.
But you have a built-in critical audience.
True, but I don't think
there are expectations.
Yeah, after they did the Lion-Cats go, there's
the bar is super low.
Thundercats is not a property that you can just glom onto any thing yet. You know what I mean? Like, you can do Teen Titans Go because we know enough about Teen Titans and like Batman to see those characters through humorous eyes. That has always been like an underlying part of how that show is presented, especially with the anime themes of the original. It still had that outlandish, playful, like whimsical factor to it. But
yeah,
like, Thundercats, both of the iterations that I've seen that people like are fairly serious feeling. And
I accept and I acknowledge that it is,
or I feel like the fans take it more seriously, which is why they hated the like basically the Thundercats Go, whatever it was.
I mean, I kind of understand some of the hate on Thundercats Go. I'm not going to say that it's warranted, but I at least understand where they're coming from with that. And it is one of those things where it's like, the person that owns like the Thundercats box set is welcome to come up and say what it should or shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? They have a little bit more weight in my opinion, as far as their critical opinion of it. But you take something like a, dare I say, the G.I. Joe franchise, Transformers. Transformers kind of went off the rails. They started to go a little left, and now they're just making whatever the hell they want to make.
Nah, they came back. Bumblebee was good. But and I'm hopeful for this new Beast Wars version. You know what I'm saying? That's looking like it's got potential to be really good. But they started to do, the last night and all that stuff. They started going a little like, we're just going to put it out there because we can. They tried to make that shit Marvel. They were trying to weave Transformers all through the fabric of history on Earth. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, it's cool if y'all just got here and we just move forward. Y'all don't have to be like,
in my head,
I was Abraham Lincoln's Transformer. Like, what?
Right. I mean, it like I said, it started getting a little.
I was there at the Playhouse and I couldn't stop it.
It got a little weird. But I watched the movie Snake Eyes, a standalone movie. Okay, cool, whatever. I guess I didn't hate it. I was entertained.
They should have just made that movie about a dude who became a ninja. It ain't have to have nothing. But see, they just glom G.I. Joe on it to get studios to buy it so they can try to sell toys. But it's like, what if they had just done that? Maybe it's like a John Wick style story.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there weren't even enough characters in it to try to sell it as toys because there's really only like 3 characters.
They definitely was trying to get us to show and get people to buy G.I. Joe stuff when I was working at Mad Engine. As like that was when Snake Eyes came out.
Just on that
I
Snake
didn't
Eyes.
I didn't even see it in theaters. I saw it on a plane.
Wow, I don't even feel like there was enough in that movie to try to promote to it, but that is always the case. Now with the Thundercats, I picture this as like a one and done movie, but as always, like of course, write it so that there's a potential sequel. Leave it open for a sequel, but I'm not going in with like, well, I have 5 movies planned out in my head. No, you make one movie. If it's good, well, you can write another movie because there's, Thundercats kind of did a Creature of the Week style format when it was on TV. And as a result, you're going to have all these, your main overarching story is Mum-Ra trying to take over. If you defeat Mum-Ra in the first one, just show him at the end, maybe a hand coming out the dirt or something, a little skeletal hand or some crap like that. You work it out that way. Are we going to cross over and try to get this where if this goes well,
Mum-Ra origins.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we're going to have like the story of Jaga. That'll be another one-off. We'll have those other Thundercats who weren't the real Thundercats, but, part of the team. There's a lot of different things you could do. For me, it's a one and done story. Get in there, tell the main story. If it's successful, cool, we'll make another. We can keep it going. As a result, I don't think that you have to be super duper critical as long as the story is told. And I'd like to believe that Kumail is a good enough actor that he can actually pull this off. And even for those serious parts, doesn't have to be like loaded with humor, because a lot of what you get from Kutherpali is just like, he does a lot of deadpan. So he delivers his lines with a straight face. He's not the one cracking the jokes all the time. Everything like he does is serious. So I think that character fits even for Lino. I think Ty brings up the better point as far as like the action sequences, given that we've seen him kind of sit on the couch for 12 years. Like, can he get out there and do action? But that's what stuntmen are for. So
you made your decision. You're sticking to it.
Not backing down. I think he'll be great.
No, I'm not trying to change your mind.
Oh no. It's just you do make valid points.
Casting anybody is a risk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You just never know like how people are going to get along, how the director is going to respond to them. So,
can the director pull out the performance they need out of the actor? Like there's a lot. Is the script going to be good enough to be able to be worked with?
Are they going through a breakup? Not
With the
focused on
executive
material.
being too nosy.
Yeah. Any number of things. They have a weird ex that we got to worry about. Finding their bed.
We got some security issues on the lot.
Security. Got a complicated order. All right, so that was for me, Lino. Ty.
All right.
Your next
I went hard on this. I'm picking Jonathan Majors. I think one, he can pull the this is a whole new world I'm trying to explore, but he can flip that switch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think
it's time to do battle. He could definitely do battle.
Yeah. I kind of envision this more as either like a limited series.
Okay.
Or if it's going to be in a film format, like a two-parter. So still like very limited scope, but enough to flesh out a story than just trying to cram it all into one film. But yeah, I'm picking Jonathan Majors as my Lino.
With it, I can see it, and I like that you don't even have to like try to justify it. Like it, you're just like, oh yeah, that works. Hell yeah, I can do that. I'm good with that. Yeah, I think that's a solid pick. Like you said, definitely with the action sequences. I think that's probably the biggest part that I get out of that. But also just the Lovecraft Country shows us that dramatic range is there,
Yeah.
and not to be taken lightly. So yeah, I'm good with that also.
I almost picked him for Tigra,
Okay.
but I didn't.
I could see that.
He was closer to like a Panthro for me because I wanted somebody like big for Panthro.
Right.
But okay, good deal. So that's what we got for Jeff. Well, no, that's what we got for Ty. Jeff, who do you have for Lionel? Out the gate, this sets up your movie.
Even though I don't think he would ever do something like this, because the way he was treated by the last major franchise he was on probably soured that taste in his mouth for doing anything like this. But if I were to be able to like have $1 million pitch and convince this actor to take this role, I would pick John Boyega.
I knew it.
I think that he has the right balance of humor, ability to do action. I'm thinking Attack the Block John Boyega. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and even like, before they did him dirty in the first Star Wars movie, he was doing his thing with like the swords and every battle scene. He was really doing his thing. You know what I mean? I think, obviously with like, I'm bringing in the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon people to like string up the fight scenes.
Ooh,
so,
okay.
I'm not as worried about like if you can do flips and be graceful and all that, because I wanted to feel like very, very practical. This is not gonna be like Cats the musical. You know what I'm saying? We doing practical makeup, and we doing like, kind of like make it a stylistic spectacle movie. Like it don't have to feel real. It can feel like, yes, we are watching a movie. You know what I mean?
No, I want a destroyed planet, a spaceship crash landing. These are aliens and another planet. Fantasy all the way for me.
No, I mean that's cool for parts of it, but I'm talking about when we're in the like fight scenes. Like let's fight. Like I don't want shaky cam. You making it hard for me to see what's going on. I want fight choreography. I want actors interacting. I want to feel like the emotion behind it. So I think like but I know at least like he looks good swinging a sword. Like we've seen it twice.
I'm with you there. Okay.
He was my second pick, so no, wholly support it.
That is I'm with that. I do think you do have the slight risk of, unless he himself is a fan of Thundercats, like how do you convince him? So yeah, I can see that part of it being a little.
I think that what I'll be able to do is I can convince him with the rest of my cast.
There you go. That's the secret. That's the secret. Because I think like my action is taken care of by the rest of my cast. That is why I was less concerned about Kumal, because the rest of them, they're coming here to kick some ass, and it's all good. So I think just for fun, let's just mix it up. We've already talked about our leading role. This is going to be the face on the poster. I think the main villain is perhaps the second most important casting in this. So we're just going to go right to it. Mum-Ra. Who is going to be your... Actually, wait, before we do that, you know what? I will go in order for you, Jeff. You said this to me.
No. I just switched it. It's
okay,
fine.
cool. One day you're going to show me how to do shit like that, because if you made that whole change, damn. Okay, so yeah, Mum-Ra. So
What do you got?
I think this one is a little simple. Mum-Ra, mummies, Egypt, Rami Malek.
Rock.
No, Rami Malek.
I was just kidding.
He is Mr. Robot. He is the main villain from the last James Bond movie. He is the guy who played Freddie Mercury in Queen. He is menacing. Right. He's menacing. He's weird, and he's not that big. So I think he's going to be great as the frail Mum-Ra. And, you just CGI the big guy. I mean, if they want to do practical effects and let, Rami take the voice work and they want to do a whole like Darth Vader bit, I'm good with that too. Like however the director wants to go practical effects and go in. But I think that his voice carries so much weight. And I even went back today and rewatched, not the whole thing, but I like fast forwarded to those specific scenes in No Time to Die, because it was that voice that he used that I was like, yeah, he's going to be perfect. I think he's going to be a menacing, terrifying Mum-Ra. And we will probably get more of him as the skeletal form with the hood than, the big transformed. And I think that makes it even more terrifying. Because he could do like a little bit of Emperor bit, use some magic and such. So yeah, that's my pick for Mum-Ra.
I like it.
So
I like it. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought that would also be like a good mix. He's Egyptian.
Yeah.
You definitely save some money on makeup because he's halfway there to looking like a skeleton.
So I'm saying like it works on multiple fronts. And of course now we've diversified 2 times. We've got India, we've got Egyptian, and we've got some other diverse cast coming. So Ty, who do you have down for your Mum-Ra?
I went with Willem Dafoe. I see Mum-Ra a bit more with the maniacal energy that I think Willem can bring and do justice.
Okay. I could dig it.
I'm gonna use the perfect picture.
Is this?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I already know the picture.
Like a crazy Oompa Loompa. He looked like an Oompa Loompa that got fired and came back up to the chocolate factory the next day.
See, kick me out now. Oh,
I'm something of a mummy myself. That works. Good with it. Right. I like, you know what? I could, yeah. I think obviously he makes a really good villain. And yeah. I think that
have him bring that Green Goblin energy.
I would like to see him go against the Jonathan Majors type. That part to me is very interesting. So I'm curious about how that's going to work.
That's going to feel very civil rights.
That is very
It probably
is.
It's
gonna be roll of Thundercats. Hear my cry.
Willem is the only white guy in my cast, so yeah, that's I could
We
feel
got
that.
so we'll look at that. We'll look at that. We'll get our diversity team on that and see what we got to do to fix. All right. But I mean, if it's a good cast, it's a good cast. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Who is your Mumra going up against John Boyega?
So I wanted to go with somebody who I feel like, with the practical effects that I want to do, and with the whole like kind of giving it that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon feel, I want somebody who understands not just the like verbal drama, but the physical drama of the character. So that transformation into like Muscle Mum-Ra at some point is going to be important for my character, but also someone who, while having the potential to be big, can find ways as an actor to like sink down and feel smaller and more menacing. And I'm going to go with Lakeith Stanfield for my Mum-Ra, because I feel like he would just sink into the role and make it weird but cool. Like Mum-Ra is like low-key kind of cool, as like he's not Skeletor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People get confused because of the colorway, but no, Mum-Ra is like, he's like one of them villains where like he actually might like figure it out, and you're gonna have to like beat him in the like 11th hour. This is not you never gonna get close. It's like, no, he's like a Thanos type character. You know what I mean? So I want somebody who.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. And given that being on Plundar, the ancient spirits of evil, like he is a master magician and evil sorcerer kind of thing. So he ain't gotta like be the big powerful being to like do you in. Like he can beat you as the mummy.
But I do want it to be somebody who, like, at some point with how I want the fight to go, if he's gonna fight Mum-Ra, I want it to be somebody who he looks good fighting Mum-Ra. You know what I'm saying?
Now, see, I could absolutely see in your form where he's like doing the hunched over bit, and then like whole cape goes flying off as he like jumps forward, kind of thing. Like
King Boomy from
right. Like jumps out, the cape goes flying off. Yeah, and I mean, it's like with him being like the immortal, like he just goes back to sarcophagus. Yeah, I'm with it. And I have to absolutely agree with that. Unexpected pick, but I agree that weird energy comes in. It's that good weird. It's that unique that comes across. So I like that. That is a good pick there. Okay.
I had to look him up. I was like, I know the name. Where do I know it from? I was like, oh shit. Okay.
Oh yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. He did the. Most people are going to remember him from Get Out, the TV show Atlanta. There
was that Black Judah and the Messiah.
Yeah. And then he had the cowboy movie with Jonathan Majors, Harder They Fall.
Yeah. He was also was he the officer or like a secondary detective in Knives Out?
Yeah, in the first one. Yeah, there's a lot of. Lakeith Stanfield's a great actor. I like him in most everything. Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you. I invited you if you wanted to hop in tonight. We're doing our FanCastIt portion of the show right now. But yes, if you want to tell any and all of your friends and let them know. And I will have to find your link again, and I will share your link on. That's my cousin True. You can follow her on TikTok. She goes live on the regular, and she has hilarious content on her live. Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love. All right, so let's get into some of these others. Let's see. So we have the three supporting casts in this one. So we got Panthro, Chitara, and Tigra. I'm going to go with Tigra next. And for Tigra, I was looking, trying to figure out, okay, like where are tigers? Tigers can be found here. They can be found there. And going through all the different places where you could find tigers, I landed on tigers in Indonesia. So I was looking for an Indonesian action star, and that was very easy because I was able to find Iko Uwais. Most people are going to know him from The Raid, where he kicked a whole lot of ass.
Oh, yes, he did.
The Raid. He was also in, I think it was Mile 22. Is another one a lot of people recognize him from. Might have caught him in this in Snake Eyes. He was Hardmaster.
What was his name?
IKOUWAIS. You type in IKO, it should come up pretty quick.
Yeah.
That is, I am just ecstatic to have him because I don't think Tigra gets the proper love. Like, he's not as cool as Panthro, but I think it was like the younger version of me. I could hear Panthro's voice, and that just felt familiar to me. So I always kind of identified more with Panthro. Lino was like the leader, but Tigra was just kind of like there. Chitara was the hot chick in the group, so Tigra was just there. And I want him to get a little bit of shine. I want him to be recognized and be in this. And so I want to give him some dope fight scenes. We may lose the whip. I don't know. We'll figure it out because it's a weird bola whip with the 3 balls at the end kind of thing. I don't know how that works. But we gotta modernize the weapons a little bit, and I think he would be perfect. Just having him immediately increases the level of action in this film. So it just went from like a 80s cartoon turned movie to like, oh, this is an action movie. Oh, okay. And with some of the other people, I think it's gonna like just add to that. So, and I really struggled with coming up with because tigers are all over the freaking place. And I was like, there was some options of people I could have chose. But ultimately, he was like one of the first people that came to mind, and I was like, that was who I wanted, and I found a place to fit him in, and I was so happy about it. Tigra.
That was a tough one for me because I don't remember Tigra as much as I remember Panthro and Chitara.
Like I said, it's no love.
Yeah. So originally I was like, yeah. Originally I was thinking Mike Coulter, who we would know as Luke Cage. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think John Boyega would be a better Tigra.
And I almost feel like if you put him in as Tigra, now you're I think it fits into the same category. I almost feel like you bring him in as comic relief as the character of Tigra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Tigra was more jovial, then Mike Coulter's not going to be the one for that.
Yeah. Unless he starts talking to Chitara about coffee, then suddenly different show, and maybe it'll work out. But yeah, okay. Let's see. I almost kind of think that Mike Coulter works as like the original iteration of Tigra, where he's not the leader. He's not the go-to guy like Panthro, where he doesn't fix everything, but he's like a good second in command kind of role.
And if that's what we're going for, then yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you get Mike Coulter as Tigra, who the hell are you going to get to be Panthro? Because Panthro got to be bigger than both of them. You got Jonathan Majors. Now, you got some big-ass cats right now.
I had Idris Elba as Panthro.
Wait, we're not there yet.
Fair enough.
You know what? It's kind of funny.
I got to give my Tigra.
Yes.
So for Tigra, I wanted somebody. So the way I envision the relationship between Tigra and Lionel is very much a competition. And Tigra, I see as that, at least in the iteration that I liked and watched, he kind of came from that, like, I'm trying to do everything right, and I'm watching Lionel kind of like skate through life on charm and good looks. And so I wanted somebody who had more of a like buttoned up feel. And I wanted somebody who could actually turn a woman's head from like a person like John Boyega who has like charisma and isn't, is not bad looking guy, but like somebody who, looks well kempt. And we've seen him play royalty and regal tea before. Reggie Jean Page, or whatever. The light-skinned dude from Bridgerton.
Yeah, I know some.
Yeah.
Reggie Jean Page. But no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know that's how you say his name. I'm just. Okay. Yeah. That's I could definitely see him looking back at John Boyega with like looking down at his nose at him.
Yeah.
But defending him with his life if necessary.
Like he the kind of dude that would be like, I'm gonna pick you want to pick a sword? I'm gonna pick a whip. Like,
right.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show you how much better of a fighter I am than you by picking uncommon weapon with a very high degree of like difficulty versus like the types of weapons that I'm actually gonna be up against. Like everybody else got blades and all kinds of sticks. Even the little kids got little explosion balls. He's just like, no,
right. Wily Cat. No, yeah. That is actually. I like the logic behind your selection. He kind of comes off as like the uncle who wants to inherit the throne, but you're also not gonna harm my family.
Yeah, like he's Scar before he like completely turns his back on like Mufasa.
Right. Yeah, it's like I see it.
Like Scar in his 20s.
And there's an underlying tone there that just makes it so interesting for it to be him.
Yes.
We won't speak on that.
That was also considered.
We won't speak on that, but if you know, you know. So that's kind of okay.
Because that tone is there in the cartoon as well.
Yeah.
In the version where it's more like serial, like that's like a thing.
Oh, did we get a? Oh, I thought so. I don't know. Somebody like I can't. Let me refresh because I can't see all the comments here. But I feel like a comment just came through that somebody like with a frowny face. Oh, okay, sorry. It's just like. Saw the little things pop up on the screen and it looked like it was somebody else was on. I don't know.
Well, share who you would want to cast in the comments below.
By all means. I mean, like I put the link if you want to jump in and tell us who you got. That is what it's for. I will share the link once again. We haven't gotten to the actual open portion of inviting people in. I think I'm gonna start making that's like an option, like maybe the second half of the show, just have it wide open for people to hop in and be a part. I mean, we get our show out the way and then just like free it up, open it up to the audience to be a part. So there, I've shared the link for everybody. If you do want to hop in, you come in, you get in the green room, and we will get with you. Now, the fun part. We've already ruined Ty's Panthro, so we'll go ahead and get that one out the way. Because he gave up the goods. And I have to say, like, honestly, I kind of get that. And I'm okay with that selection because it does have that at this point now. I think if we make the movie now, it works out really well. Had it been made any time before, I'm not sure. But Panthers are like every freaking where because Jaguars, Cougars, Panthers, Black Panther, like freaking snow leopards are considered panthers. So Panthers are everywhere. That actually kind of opened it up and gave me a lot of free range on that one. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I could just pick a martial artist that I want to do this. And again, I still have a voice in my head for Panthro. I still have a look in my head for Panthro. Michael Jai White.
Okay.
I don't know that anybody else is going to work for Panthro for me for this movie, but he also needs to be able to come in here and kick just as much ass. And I need to believe that he actually could be the one to be in charge if it was necessary. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're getting a lot of Black Dynamite energy from him in this movie. Script changes, obviously, but that'll be that type of demeanor that we get from Michael Jai White. He's got the bass in his voice.
Yeah.
But he also, like, I've also seen him like do a lot of comedic stuff, like comedy drama type stuff where
what's the name? Why Did I Get Married?
Yeah. Watching him with Tasha Smith and Why Did I Get Married, that just shows me that like he's perfect for a role like this. And you know, he could definitely be tough and blood and bone and kick all the ass. But then when Chitara or somebody's getting onto him, oh wait, no, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, I think he'd be great. Michael Jai White is my pick for Panthro. Tide, you want to expand a little bit on your Idris Elba, or is that self-explanatory?
So I needed someone who was going to be the biggest of the three that we've cast so far. I feel like it'll just, especially kind of like he could have the like mentorship attitude of Heimdall, but then also can flip it into something more ferocious in battle. So, like, I needed someone who could hold a gravitas when he spoke, but also put in the fear of God when he was ready to battle.
Okay. And that fits. That fits. I definitely has like kind of that uncle, like your big uncle or something. You know what I'm saying? Like looking out for you,
Yeah.
your older cousin that has to watch you. And with it. I like it. Jeff, talk to me, man. Who you got for Panthro?
So I wanted somebody to have that. So I think my picks are gonna be, they're muscular, but they're not like jacked. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're not Batman. They like Dick Grayson, Nightwing, you know, year 2
Okay.
style body types. So obviously I need somebody who can come in and kind of be that tank. But also in terms of relationship to the rest of the team, he is that uncle father figure. So I wanted somebody who can do the balance of not just the guidance portion, but also the kind of like playful nudging and banter that an uncle type figure would give that like a father figure doesn't, right? And so somebody who we've seen kind of do that before. I'm picking David Ramsey, who might know as Diggle from the Arrowverse.
Okay. I
But
can
it's
see
like,
that.
because you know his relationship with Oliver, you know, when he needed to give the serious speech, he could, but you know, it was very, you know, they had a playfulness in their friendship also that, you know, can be overlooked just because of how serious the Arrowverse ended up being. But yeah.
Okay. Real quick, want to give a shout out.
We
Want to welcome.
fight.
Oh yeah, he's definitely he got hands. Want to give a shout out. Want to welcome True Story onto the show. What's going on, True? How you doing
Bringing
tonight?
my ground. Is it PG-13 today?
No, it is always rated R. This is an 18 plus show, so say what's on your mind. Say what you think.
I'm just trying to catch up.
So we are actually coming up with casting for Thundercats. If you remember the show Thundercats, we have we're doing Lino, Panthro, Chitara, Tigra, and Mumra, and we are coming up with the people that we think would be ideal for the cast of the Thundercats. We are down to our last one. We're about to do Chitara, so you came in just in time. If you remember anything about Chitara, I'll let you pick a lady actress that you think would handle the role of Chitara quite well. But
Ooh, Jesus.
Right. So I actually had a whole row of people I wanted to pick for Chitara. There was so many different choices, so many different people. But I had to find something
Wait, Sam, before you do that, do you want to put up what we've already done before?
Oh, we could absolutely.
Yeah, let me see it. Y'all got pictures.
Yep.
Yes.
Get that pulled up.
Let me
And
see.
that will, let me do it on this one over here. It's funny because I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what, this would be the perfect time to have like just another person, or you know what, like if I had a whole actually, let me try this. Let me see if I can do this because I do have one thing queued up. Let me see if it will let me pull it up. Okay, that present video. There it is. All right, so a quick word from our sponsor. Let's see if this works.
What is happening?
We're growing, baby. We're growing.
I gotta get a snack.
See? There you go. I could just like maybe set that to loop next time and it'll keep playing. We'll do like 30-second breaks in between. That way I can have everything pulled up at the right time. But let's see. Let me go ahead and click on this, pull this up, and I will. Actually, I need to just save this image and then I can open up the image by itself. Really, what it comes down to is I am going to get to a point where every Wednesday I'm going to need like a producer for some of these shows because of the stuff that we do. It would just be really helpful to have somebody behind the scenes doing this stuff live as we are working on it. But yeah, that was my little 30-second commercial spot. I made that myself. Yay.
Very nice.
Been playing with some stuff. Okay, and she's back. So
I don't know what I did.
It's cool. It happens. It happens. So what? Oh, wrong thing. Wrong screen. Click that. Minimize. Nope. Make that small.
Maximize.
Right. I just want to pull this thing up. There we go. That's the sponsor.
Hide these tabs.
Right. And see, that's the funny part. It's like I have to like move the stuff so that everything that's in the background isn't visible while I'm showing it because I have like all my windows open also, which you don't need them. It's not for you. It's not for you. There we go. Live notes. So I have a screen up where I have like all my live notes. That way, anything we're doing, I can just have available. There we go. That's there. And after all of that BSing, let me go ahead and pull this screen up so you can see. Here is the way the casting works. So,
Okay.
Right here, as you can see, so for the character of Lino, we have different people cast in different roles. John Boyega, who you've seen in the Star Wars movies, who you've seen. Actually, he's had a lot of good movies outside of the more recent Star Wars movies. Attack the Block being one of them. He's had some. He had the one where he was the bank robber. That was a really, really good movie. And then like Lakeith Stanfield as Mumra, Regé-Jean Page as Tigra, David Ramsey as Panthro. When you come down here to my list, you see we've got Kumail Nair, Rami Malek, Ika Uwais, Michael Jai White. I love that, Jonathan Majors. That particular Willem Dafoe. No other Willem Dafoe. That Willem Dafoe. You see, and then of course he also has John Boyega cast. He has him cast as Tigra in that version. So it's like he shows up for the audition. Somebody's putting him in for something somewhere. He's not.
I don't know why I feel like Michael B. Jordan should go somewhere.
And you know, honestly, no, that is absolutely fine. I would say, looking at this list, he would probably fit in a Lionel role. I don't know that he. You would have to make the argument for why he would have to be one spot or the other, but I think based on that, yeah, I could absolutely see Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I think he would fit in a Lionel role. Probably not the Mumra type, because he's, you know, he's very. Well, let me not do that. I was about to say, you know, he played one bad guy, one movie. And he had just.
I'll let Michael B. Jordan direct it.
Okay.
I don't want him to act in it, but I'll let him direct it.
That he can't act in it at all. Okay, that's fair though. I mean, I get it because I'm looking at this, but see, I feel like he has enough appreciation for the source material. He seems like the kind of guy that would go and like watch all of the episodes of Thundercats in preparation just so he would be the best whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, he also kind of fits in the Tiger role to me.
I got to say with the Tiger role. That's kind of
the way you have him cast.
So we've already seen him in that role. I mean, it's basically a less violent Killmonger.
Yeah. But I think, you know, he would also, he's got the fight. He's got the hands for the role. He can work. But see, that's true. That's her casting. That's what she said. She said Michael B. Jordan should be somewhere. I was just trying to think like where he would even work to be in there.
Yeah, the director chair.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Amazing. I'm just playing.
That could work. So now we have
that movie will be too sexy.
It's can't take damn. No. You know what? They would actually sell out really well. Yeah. I mean, that's already like I'm already certain I'm going to see Creed. Like I don't even know if I'm going to see Creed, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to see Creed.
I need to see Creed. I'm ready.
You know what I'm saying? Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. Yeah, I'm gonna probably end up in the theater on Creed. You know, it's cool. Make him go see stuff I want to see, so it works out. All right, so for Chitara,
what you got?
Southwest Asia. That was going to include places like Iran.
Cheetahs are from Asia?
Say what?
Cheetahs are from Asia?
Cheetahs are found.
Africa.
Yeah, they're in.
When I promise you I did the research on this. Southwest Asia, which actually falls more into like what you would look at a lot of the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia type areas, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, all that type of stuff, like those kind of areas. And that's actually where you're going to find a lot of the cheetahs. So in looking at that, I was like, ooh, Israeli. No, not putting Gal Gadot in this. She's statuesque and she's tall and she's gorgeous. And I think for the role of the character, it would be okay. But I did find, I think, a better fit for an Iranian American. And she's an up-and-coming star. I think a younger cast for this role, as long as like, you know, Kumal and Rami being a little bit younger, Iko and Michael Jai White being a little bit older, it works. Yara Shahidi gets to be my Chitara. She is Iranian American and African. And she's actually African Iranian. Like her mother's African American, her father's Iranian American. That beats my quota both ways. Okay. Now I'm happy. And I think she's going to have the look for Chitara.
Yeah, she looked like a cat.
You know what? Like, I think it's such a good fit.
Once you see this picture I picked,
I think it's such a good fit.
Let me see what she look like.
Just send me the picture that you sent. I'll pop it up. So there we go. But yeah, I think she is. Given that she's up and coming actress, I think it's going to be yeah. She absolutely. That's funny. That is hilarious. Let me pull that up. That is funny. So True, check this out. This is why she's gonna work so well, because this is what she looks like. That's her face right there. And with all of these other, like, let's see if it will let me. I thought it was gonna let me scroll through. But yeah, even there, she's still kind of.
My only thing about her is I've never seen her do anything even close to action in terms of her acting. But
I think, you know what? And while there are I am convinced that good directors and, good stories, decent actors can jump in there and do action sequences.
So you think Michael B. Jordan can get her to do an action sequence?
I think Michael B. Jordan, what?
Could get her to do an action sequence.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anything you say, Michael.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I absolutely see he
can run lines.
He could probably like, did you want to do the action scene in the trailer? Like, oh, you want to do it on set? Okay, let's practice this routine. So how exactly? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, I think like honestly, you know what I'm saying? I think honestly it comes down to it's a situation where, we've discussed this before. I know I've talked about it many times before, but like I know after we saw Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves kung fu fighting in The Matrix, that took the veil off where you had to be an established martial artist to do action in movies. You know what I'm saying? And everybody kind of used to be known like, oh, they're an action star. And other people were like, oh, they're a dramatic actor. And nowadays, it's like those lines are so blurred because everybody can come in and do action scenes. And some people are more interested. Now, some people have a better, they have more affinity and they're more acclimated to do those action scenes. Not everybody's going to be a Keanu Reeves and go out in their own personal time and take 30 hours of firearms handling training so that they can look the part in that. But it's also like a cool hobby that he apparently enjoys because he does that in his spare time anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but for every Keanu Reeves, you have an Iron Fist.
Ooh,
this is correct.
And this is like grandmother he was doing kung fu like a cardboard cutout.
Okay, well, to that point, name an action movie that you saw Robert Downey Jr. in before the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
An action movie? I haven't seen very many Robert Downey Jr. movies, to be honest with you. So
and that's
you said before when?
Before the
like Weird Science is the only thing I knew him from.
I honestly wouldn't even consider Iron Man to be an action movie. He's CG armor. He doesn't really do any actiony stuff. He flies and he shoots stuff. Like that's.
So by the time
there's a way, and there's a way to do it. I think like if your movie is going to be very like CGI heavy, then like yeah, for sure it'll 100% work because all them fights in the Marvel Cinematic Universe be CGI. Then people don't be swinging around in them suits. They just go in and film the face part, and then they CGI the face into like the CGI fight scene.
I completely understand that. But when you get around to say something like in Iron Man 3, where he has to walk through and he's like got to catch this and catch that, and you know what I'm saying, there are some action sequences in it, and even the little parts he did with in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Not Falcon and Winter Soldier, sorry.
You're talking about Civil War. Even then, at that point, that was CGI.
A lot of it was, but there was still the physical presence of him being there to do certain little parts, and it's a way to work it in and make it happen. And I'm just thinking that it's doable, and having as long as you have enough people to handle the heavy lifting of the action. I got two straight up martial artists
That's what I was about to say. You got two dudes on there that's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting in the fight.
You know what I'm
scenes and
saying?
shit.
Like,
unless Kumal can get it together.
and honestly, I believe that Kumal, I think that he has the acting chops to go and do something beyond.
You hear that, Kumal? Say I'm believing you.
I believe. And look, if nothing else, he's already told us. All we got to do is get him to have a drink or two, and man, we can do whatever we want. Kumal is the man after that.
You know who I was thinking about?
Who was that?
She played on the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
The one
who played number 4? The one who could, Rumor.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the one who played the girlfriend, the crazy girlfriend. Rita, what's her name?
Oh, the Indian girl who was dating number 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Rita something.
True. I like.
God,
okay.
Oh my God, I can't remember her last name,
No,
but I think she would go first.
Rita Ora.
Yeah, I think that is her name.
Rita Ora.
So Umbrella Academy.
Rita Arya.
Ario. There it is. We're close. You know what? He was closer than I was. So, yeah. Okay.
And she does action.
She was doing action in the Umbrella Academy. So
she does a lot of action in the Umbrella Academy. And she's got a whole movie coming up that is like all action.
Right.
I know you've seen this. I know you've seen the trailer for that. It looks like a Bollywood wedding, and that's her. Yes, that's her.
Yeah.
So that's
done.
That actually works really well, and it goes with my casting options. I love it.
Right?
I love it. True. That is a great pick. That's a great pick. Okay.
And she's hot.
she's not a bad looking woman. I can watch a movie with her. Yeah, I can absolutely watch a movie with her in it. Yeah.
I was saying it all fits all in there. I thought so.
I mean, like, honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing Polite Society just because it actually seemed like it was going to be.
Like you can't too.
Yeah. It works. You know what? We're gonna put her in as an alternate. I'm good with that. But I had already had like a ton of alternates. Now, it does need to go in that let's get everybody else's pick and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up some extra little details there. Ty, Chitara. Who is your Chitara?
So I've gone with an older cast. So I would have loved to have Ritu, but I went with Zoe Saldana. I felt like she could
$1 billion franchise right here, baby. Thundercats just made $1 billion.
I feel like she has that slender Chitara physique. She's proven herself in plenty of action, but also has like the grace of a cat. So,
yeah, you know what?
That is actually, she looks like when we paint her a darker color of brown too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually works. I'm not gonna react to that. I tried to gloss it. But yeah, I think you know what? It's also like that's a really good pick. I hate that it's a good pick that it is, but that really fits. I mean, she's got all the parts, she's got all the action.
I didn't see what she looked like.
And Gamora, and take the green paint off and put stripes on her. You know what I'm saying? Put spots on it. It works. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely, because that's really what Chitara is. She's like Cat Gamora. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sword, she has a staff. But she could be like the most dangerous woman on the planet because I felt like she was the only woman on the planet for the longest time. Then they had to introduce some other characters because everybody got like, how does this dynamic work? Where did Wily Cat come from? Wait a minute. Questions started getting asked, and we don't want to ask those questions. So, okay, Jeff, talk to me, man. Who you got for Chitara?
So for my Chitara, I wanted somebody who had an air of badassness. The thing I like about Chitara is she's not there to be the damsel in distress. She's not there to be pined over by Lionel and Tiger. Like she appreciates genuine shows of affection, but she's not out here like for the dick swinging contest. You know what I mean?
Right.
She got her own thing.
She's not here to be saved.
She got good posture. You know what I'm saying? She can fight. Nobody's coming to save her in the fight. She's thinking she's saving you. So I needed somebody who I saw stand up to a character in another movie. I mean, we've seen her do a whole bunch of kick-ass stuff in other movies as well. I'm going with Lashana Lynch. Okay. And I like her because I'm thinking about her ability to like move in the space without like it being about the male gaze. I saw that in her role in James Bond where, you know, she basically got to be like, yo, I'm the new 007, big boy. Like, you need to fall back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, she stood toe-to-toe with, what's his name, you know, who been playing the role for years and had
Daniel Craig.
Really, and he really done a lot to, like, win people over in that role and be taken seriously. So for her to be able to come in the movie and stand toe-to-toe, I just needed somebody who can stand toe-to-toe with a John Boyega, a Lakeith Stanfield, and Bridgerton. You know what I mean? Like and all of my my main three cast members, Lionel, Tiger, Chitara, are all British. So they're gonna be talking in British accents while they flying on my Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon strings. This is gonna be a cinematic masterpiece.
And you know what? And honestly, that movie's really coming together quite well because then you got Lakeith Stanfield on the opposite side, him being him against these. Yeah, that's working out really well, man. That's working out really well. I gotta say, like, the thing I love most about this is every time we do this, these movies are like any one of these movies could get made. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes so much sense for these to be these kind of movies, and like, that's a great pick. That's a great pick. So let me pull this up so everybody can see, to see the whole thing.
You can vote and tell us who has the best cast.
Oh, okay.
And we
will put it out for everybody to vote. But yes, you are a guest tonight. Like, let's see. Let me pull that up, and we will get that up on screen here. And there it is. Where's my live notes? Boom. All right. So here is the entire cast options. Boom. That is everybody. Let's see, I can make that a little.
Ooh.
There we go. So that's your entire cast. And you see, even Rita, for your option at the end, I think I would still go with Yara myself, just because I think for my casting, I kind of had it set up. But Rita works. She's like an easy fill-in for that. Now, just some extra little side notes. For the there were two people in particular that I thought of because I wanted a little bit more action and I wanted some stunts. And given that she is with the staff, if you are on TikTok, there is a girl named Michelle C. Smith. She does all this lightsaber bit and like staff twirling, and she is actually already a stunt actress. So I don't know anything about her being able to, like, she doesn't have any credits that I can say, like, oh yeah, if you look at this movie, she was really good, nothing to compare with. But her action sequences, I want her to be the action stand-in for Chitara. Like, I want that level of ability in terms of the action. And I always kind of want to be like, I would just cast her if I thought she could do the other parts in terms of acting, because she is going to be everything you talked about with Lashana. She's not the damsel in distress. She can absolutely stand on her own. I see her being the one to go out and kick ass, not need anybody to come and kick ass on her behalf. Like, and let me see if I can. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I want to pull it up. I did TikTok. I will actually see if I can pull that up just to show you who this chick is, because she is kind of a badass. And what you got, True? Looking at those casts. So this first row, these are all your linos. So this is going to be like your main character. We have John Boyega, Kumail Nayar, and Jonathan Majors. Mumra, Lakeith Stanfield, Rami Malek, Willem Dafoe.
These are going to be the villains.
Like, I'm looking at Ty's movie, and I'm just like, man, Willem gonna get canceled after that. Like, we got to be real careful
what?
how that movie plays out. Cause
Thinking evil or just big eyes, because all of them got big old eyes.
yeah. I mean, there's a definite look between the Mumras. I
You just have to have a crazy stare.
Right. Now the Panthros are all like, they're all the uncle roles at this point. They're all vibing in as uncles.
Idris is an uncle?
Idris is absolutely an uncle at this point. Idris has pretty much been an uncle since he's been out. What are you talking about? Idris is an uncle.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, like the fact that you like him doesn't make him any less.
He hasn't let himself go like a lot of uncles have, but age-wise, he's definitely an uncle.
Okay.
I love how she's like, he ain't looking like any of my uncles.
I know, right?
Ain't none of the uncles in our family coming across like Idris. I'm hoping to be the first to kind of portray that as time goes on. That's why I'm keeping all this gray like this. I'm not changing. I'm letting.
True, why are you laughing?
Because it's my cousin.
Yeah, True is my actual cousin. Like bloodline. That is my actual cousin.
I know, but you're like, man, I want to look good like Ildris, and she's like,
she busted out laughing like, what the hell?
I know.
Stop. That's not gonna happen.
He said he wanted to be the sixth uncle.
Right, I'm working on it. Working on it. You still laughing, and that's like I was gonna let it go, but Ty pointed it out. Now I have to respond. Like, why is that funny to you? Why is that funny? That is, aren't you supposed to be picking something? What like?
Okay, you're right.
Who is your selection?
Okay, I'm definitely. I can see Zoe.
Okay.
I can see Zoe. I mean, she's badass. I've seen her in the action movie before. I haven't really seen the other two do anything. I don't recognize
I'm
them.
gonna just say it's too many black people in this movie for Zoe Saldana to do it.
Stop.
He's honest, right?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it. I absolutely know where that's coming from, and that's how that's going to go down.
Her
I'm trying to
IMDb.
find one of the. Okay, here is a. Okay,
She'll do it for Ty. Ty will be able to convince her.
yes, that's my baby blues.
It's like, look, you have your own trailer. Just, you can do separate promos. We'll just CGI you into everything.
You can do it from the comfort of your home. We'll just put everything green.
I'm just choosing the female, right? Am I choosing?
No. Like you're looking.
No, you're looking at the total cast and say which movie would you want to go see.
Oh, okay. I ain't even gonna lie, Jeff. I definitely go see your cast because just the guy that played Tigra, I'm there. I'm there for it. I I am there for it. Like
So Reggie Jean Page, you going?
You got the guy who will burn for me? Yeah, that's the movie I want.
Sam, this gotta be the clip you put on social media.
I will make it. I will keep that in mind.
I'm just telling you, he is hot, and I would definitely go look at it.
Even if he was painted up like a tiger.
Yeah, definitely. If he was painted up as a tiger, most definitely.
Rawr.
Period. Yes, I would definitely go see him. I wish they wouldn't have killed him off the other movie. Off the show I watched on Netflix.
I don't think they killed him off. He just wasn't on it.
What? They didn't kill him off.
No, they didn't kill him
I
off.
think
He was like away on business.
Oh.
No, he had like scheduling conflicts. And then they were just like, we got to film it. But it wasn't about them anyway. It was about the other girl.
Well, it should have been about.
She got
It definitely should have been about him.
Somebody somewhere was listening. Okay, so I have a clip for
this season, but
I have a clip from Michelle C. Smith, and I just want this to be seen real quick. And then since we're already on TikTok, I'll pull up True, and everybody can check out her page as well. So let me just bring this over so that's visible. Boom, make it big.
Oh yeah, I've seen her.
She is known mostly for like her lightsaber videos and stuff, but she's been on some of the like CW shows. Anytime they had somebody like happening in Gotham or Arkham or whatever the case may be. And since Chitara uses the staff, right. Like, bruh, you have like she's sick with it.
The thing moving fast.
She is sick with it. Like, tell you some of these nope, come on.
Okay, then.
You see the behind the backflip? Boom.
Okay.
Like, no. Shotty is like the lady is.
Oh, she cold.
She can be a henchman in mine.
See, this was Smallville. That's her. That's the lady that
I fought a real life cult leader. That's funny.
Right, because you know the
that's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, Michael B. Jordan directing, Crocs and Tiger Hidden Dragon team on strings, black people flying through the sky. Still ain't gonna win no Oscar, but we'll love it and we'll appreciate it. And we'll watch them get mad when they say they took Thundercats from us.
So while we're here, everybody make sure you go through, give a shout out, get a love, get a like right here. True Story.
That's
me.
me.
See it right there. That's her. Be sure to follow. Check her out when she goes live. And we were talking about this last week. What's so amazing about her live is she doesn't hop on all the silly trends or anything like that. She's a real person, real content, real videos, and it's real funny. So
I tried. I can't really dance, so I can't really do nothing to dance.
So, like since you can't dance, go with comedy. That's the default.
Yeah, just my life pretty much.
And but even then, it's great. And while you're there, be sure, of course, to click on Grown A Geeks. You can give us a like and a follow as well. We appreciate it. So check both of those out: True Story and Grown A Geeks. So I am now going to. So that was fantastic. That is all right, Jeff. So I'm gonna give you this one this week. Our special guest came on. You had one person that she liked. Okay,
y'all wasn't thinking about the sex appeal.
Actually, I kind of was like, and I was like, I mean, Yara over Michelle Smith. I was like, she has
you
to
wasn't
be
no, you wasn't thinking about a woman's point of view on the sex appeal. Like you heard me when I was talking about my Tiger pick. I said I had to get somebody who would actually be able to turn Chitara's head away from someone like Lionel. Because like John Boyega, he's a handsome man, charming. He'll be able to, I'm sure he does quite well for himself. But
somebody that
as True shared, Reggie John Page is a different type of gravy.
Right. And her reaction was a little honest on that. So I got to say, like, oh yeah, definitely. Oh,
I'm true.
100. 100.
If I'm being honest, the crouching tiger, hidden dragon aspect really intrigues me. Like I got to give my vote to Jeff's movie too.
I will say I liked the approach to that film. Conceptually, it works out, and the reason you have casted the way you have casted, I see it and I appreciate it, and I think that works out really well. Oh, you know what? Yes, Jeff. Here's an option for you. We're go.
Is it the black girl with the knee brace and the afro?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
And I think I follow her on like 4 or 5 different things.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me pull that one. Here's
knee brace and the afro.
The audio was playing through, and I like this particular audio. So we're gonna pull this one out.
I need to see this knee brace.
You got a knee brace on.
Okay.
That was oh, believe me, I watch all of them, all the time, and she is like every video she has is like her back. You talk about somebody that don't need no help, like
to the floor, shake my big bitties, bopping like did it. My face look pretty. Y'all ain't doing shit new, I done did it. Cause I'm marvelous, fantabulous, a bad chick. The flow sick like oh shit. You know this, I'm too fit to ever quit. Knocking these fools out like pool sticks. I do this, I move this, I prove this. Bars be hard like a pound of bricks. And go up, don't get to the bang bang high. This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta. This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta. Rat-ta-ta. It's the kind of beat to go right.
Oh, and she dances. Oh shit!
They did the. Remember they made that music video for Lil Jon. That's what this song sounds like. Friday night, everybody. Turned Down for What? The guys that did the video for Turned Down for What, which just hit like 1 billion views, even though it's like, a 10-year-old video. Because of the recent win, they're like getting all that extra recognition. Yeah. Okay. I mean. Can y'all still hear that?
Nope. This is gonna be my stunt coordinator.
Right, just to my ear. So, okay, that was FanCastIt, THUNDERCATS. Yay. All right, so we're gonna open up like for the remaining 30 minutes. Last of Us. Ty, have you watched Last of Us?
I have not seen the last episode.
Ooh. Did you play the game?
I did not, but I did watch the cutscenes. I know the story.
Okay. If you've seen the cutscenes and so you know the ending and such, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a while, but I'm not afraid of the spoilers.
It's still kind of weird because I'm like, okay, so how do you feel about spoilers? Because this is the last episode kind of thing.
I don't mind it. Like, to me personally, if I know what I am expecting, it doesn't ruin it for me because I get to see it in action and I can kind of look at it from a more visual standpoint of how do they do it versus the story they're trying to tell.
All right. And True, have you been watching the show Last of Us?
I have not.
Reggie hasn't been in that show, so no.
See, it's not a thing. Hat Man, what's going on, Hat Man?
I'm back. What's up?
What is going on with your brother?
Welcome aboard.
Not much, man. Just
so first off, I gotta ask, how did the tournament go?
Oh, tournament went pretty well actually.
Talk to us. Give us details. I need deets.
Well, first I was stressing out for nothing. Well, not nothing. A lot. It was very much.
Welcome.
Hello.
I'm on gremlin mode today, so no video.
But
I like that photo that you have, though. I like your thumbnail photo.
Thank you.
The tournament went well. Aside from all the hiccups leading up to, not to all including two of my commentators bailed out at the last minute. I had 3 people had to drop out. Then I had another commentator drop out at the last minute again because in all fairness, all the commentators that dropped out had good reasons. Like one had like somebody in their family just passed. There was a scheduling conflict, and then like the other one, I forget what the other reason was, but I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
At some point, you're like, you know what? Just I don't care. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good reason. I can't think of it at the moment. I don't feel like
again, they have legitimate reason.
Yeah.
Then we're good with it.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm gonna try to make ours a little bit. Does it change anything? Nope. Okay. Too many people for that layout. Cool.
But the tournament actually went through. Everything was fine. Everything ran smooth. Lots of good Street Fighter V matches. It was great. It was a good time. The winner ended up being somebody who's very small on TikTok, so that was great that he was able to win that.
Didn't y'all end up with not just 1 but 2 perfects?
Yeah, and he was the one that got both perfects.
Wow,
both perfect rounds.
Which I'm still waiting for you to clip those and post them.
Oh no, I'm working on them right now.
And who was that person? Who did that end up being?
He goes by the name of NerdPrez. He goes by the name of NerdPrez 419 on TikTok.
NerdPrez 419.
Yes.
What the hell is that? Sorry, another screen popped up. My TikTok is still open.
I was gonna say,
real quick,
I'm used to hearing that.
My kid's awake, so I got to put him back down. So I got to dip out.
All right, man. Cool. Appreciate you being on. We'll holler at you later, Ty.
That's it. All
right.
So go ahead.
But like a lot of my homies from FGC TikTok came through. Everything was cool. Everything was nice.
Except for Stray.
Except for Stray, but he had to work, so it is what it is. work
Specs wasn't there either.
Well, Specs doesn't really play Street Fighter like that, so
okay, he could have been one of the people who like died immediately.
No,
is that NerdPress 419?
Yes.
Shit, he got more followers than me. But congratulations congratulations on the win, and we will give him an additional follow and a shout out here at Grown Geeks.
Yeah, he deserved it. He put in a lot of work in that tournament. It was fun to watch him kind of run through the tourney. Not a loss. He did not take a loss.
Wow.
Yeah, he
undefeated.
Perfect run through the tournament.
Two perfects and undefeated.
Yeah. So, that man is a threat. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was still stressful because it was my first tournament that I ran like that, and I wanted it to be good.
Too perfect.
Yeah, I wanted it to be too perfect.
I kept telling David to try and calm down. The same tactics he used with me, it doesn't work. So
now would I do it again? Absolutely. Because I learned a lot from my experience. And the next time I do run one, it'll probably run a little bit smoother, and I'll probably run it like with a little bit more time for preparation, because like a month and some change was clearly not enough for me. That month was kind of a stressful month anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah. It's still stressful,
but it nonetheless, it was a good tournament, nice turnout. The most people I've had on my stream in a while, or ever, actually.
Yeah, you held between like 18 and 22 for most of the stream.
Yeah, so it was good for everybody. I got a few more followers. That was the best stream I've had in a while. The winner is going to get a copy of Street Fighter 6, and yeah,
A hoodie too, right?
and a hoodie and a hoodie.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so everything nice and cool. I'm gonna chop up the matches and put them on my YouTube channel, and I will clip out some good stuff from the matches and put it on TikTok. So yeah.
All right. And Grown Geeks will probably repost those videos on our TikTok. And if you have them on the YouTube, if you send me the links, we will, as always, you're more than welcome to post those in the group to for your YouTube channel there so people can see that and go by, take a look, leave a like, add a follow, etc. You know how we do. And if you've got them posted there, just share the links in group. And if you're not a member of our group on Grown Geeks, click that QR code there in the corner right there above Jeff. That'll take you to everywhere you can find us, all our socials. We, of course, ask that you give a like and a follow to this video if you haven't done so already. We did have a winner. We actually had two of our winners from our 200 subscriber contest and our 5 subscribers from a single subscriber contest. That person has gotten their statue. I'm actually working on some new statues. Oddly enough, I'm putting together a Chun-Li. I'm putting together a Mirko from Street Fighter. No, Mirko from My Hero, Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
There you go.
And I have a Tali from Mass Effect.
Nice.
Couple of things.
I was thinking Soul Calibur, but I guess Mass Effect as well. Or no, Talum is what I'm thinking. I'm mixing them up.
You're mixing Talum and Taki.
Tali and Taki.
Right.
That the same thing.
There's a little bit of a theme here. I actually could do Taki. Yeah, that would work.
No, because you'd have to figure out how to get her boobs to move still. And yeah, I don't know if that's going to work.
Augmented reality. You know what? We'll just like put an AR video on it or something, and
like just don't print the boobs and just like I don't know, put a balloon inside and fill it with water and it'll poke out.
Exactly. You know what?
You can take your head off and like refill it. Okay.
I think we're onto something. It can work. Although I'm pretty sure if I go to that one place on Etsy that has all the interesting stuff, I could probably find something that's already.
Just buy a pair of silicone, like small silicone boobs for it, and just pop them in there.
Really small.
I'm sure you could find someone.
But the funny part is, even on the statue, that would be size appropriate. So
I mean, okay, don't ask me how I know this, but you can get one of those like just really cheap statues off Amazon that you can take the bras off the women and their boobs are like squishy, and just cut the boobs off and put them on her instead, and then throw away the bootleg statue.
I'm not going to ask why you know that. So, yeah, we'll just let that be. So the tournament was a success. Happy to hear that. You clip those videos, you get those links, you post that up there, and we'll get the content out there for you. I did want to talk just before we go. And Jeff, I'm glad you're here. Have you been watching The Last of Us?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Well, even so, this was one of those. They just had the finale, and it's funny because once again
on Twitter,
pretty much, you know what I'm saying.
The way I watched Game of Thrones.
Honestly, it's a shame, but to each their own.
You know, and it's one of those things. Like, of course, with the finale of The Last of Us, we find ourselves right back where we were. What was it, 10 years ago, where the moral ambiguity of the game and the question of the finale. First off, I have to say that I think that last episode was like 45 minutes. And I saw some people saying like, oh, this feels rushed. It feels like it went pretty quick. And I was like, you know what? It really didn't feel all that rushed. Just Joel didn't die 100 times in the hospital. When I played, Joel died 100 times in the hospital. So it took a very long time to get through the hospital. At the time I played, I didn't realize where I was in the game. And as a result, didn't realize that I could just finish the game. I was still going through trying to do everything all stealth and whatnot. And it was like so unnecessary at that point. And later on, it was like, oh, you mean I could have just like skipped past those people, got into the next room, didn't have to fight them? Oh God. Okay. But nonetheless, when you get to that portion of the game, first off, amazing trend. Like, it's weird because when you see something on a game that's cinematic and you think like, oh, somebody drew that, or it's CGI, or whatever the case may be, and then you see people actually do that thing, when you see real actors act out that scene, I don't know why it just feels so unique, so interesting.
Right.
But to see that finale play out the way that it did, it was literally almost a shot for shot of the game.
Oh yeah, they did a great job throughout the course of the show, to at least make sure that like a lot of the script and a lot of the shots were very similar to the game, which I guess kind of makes up for the fact that none of the characters really look like how they looked in the game. It took me a couple episodes to get used to stuff.
Well, I mean, except for Joel. Joel actually looks the closest. The closest.
Yes. But like, I think Ellie was the most jarring thing.
Yeah.
And there, as far as like the difference in how they looked, compared to like the character they portrayed in the game, or that was portrayed in the game. But I mean, I assume they went that way because they wanted to distance themselves even further from the whole controversy before, where they allegedly ripped off Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, there was a whole like,
oh,
whether
okay,
or not,
I remember now. Yeah.
Yes, including I think Elliot Page was involved in that lawsuit as well, like suing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Naughty Dog.
they were like the crux of the whole thing.
Yeah, well, and I believe later, Elliot Page either sued or at least was really angry that Quantic Dream had completely fully detailed nude render.
Yeah, hidden in the coding.
The coding, and people found that in mods, and yeah, that was a whole thing as well. But
yeah,
there's a lot of controversy with those games. They're both good, but
I definitely thought there was some uniqueness as far as the look of Ellie versus the look of the actress. All the weird people came out of the woodworks in defense of the game version of Ellie, and it got really weird really quick, and I didn't even want to go down that rabbit hole of discussion. But I will say the only Bella Ramsey did have to win me over, because, and this is not, like, I don't know how this gets taken, and I apologize for it being taken out of context, but those first couple of episodes, just like looking at her was just very interesting.
It was. I think that,
don't know why.
I think that as production continued, they continued to soften her look. Because I mean, a lot of like shows and stuff do that. Like, look at, I know that happened to mention Game of Thrones earlier. Look at Game of Thrones. Look at all the Lannisters at the beginning, and look at them just like 3 or 4 seasons later. All of a sudden, only one of them is blonde now, when they were all very like bleach bottle blonde before.
Yeah, bleach blonde.
But I think there was some, because you can ask David. I'm really weird with like looks and stuff, like visuals, sounds, things like individual senses. I'm kind of sensitive to, and they just get under my skin for some reason. But like after the first like couple episodes or so, I noticed that I think part of it too, you could tell she was really settling into the role.
Yeah.
And it came off, like, I think for her in the first episode or two, to me at least, she came off as a little too much like, I need to try extra hard to really prove myself that this is me for the role. And then she seemed to kind of settle in and get more comfortable with it, in future episodes, which may not be the case, but
yeah, it's almost like they were recording. I'm not going to say recording it live, but like at any point she could lose the job.
Yeah.
And so she had to keep, and then like by the 3rd episode, she realized she wasn't going to get fired.
Yeah.
And stopped trying to like be something and just like acted for the role.
But to what you were saying before about people saying that the last episode seemed rushed, I agree with them, but to this point, I do understand they did stick it very closely to how the game was.
Yeah.
Right. but
Especially, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
they added so much like random filler throughout the rest of the show. It didn't match the pacing for the other episodes.
Yeah.
That whole show, and that's one of the, like, mine and David's first gripes with that show. It's so slow. The pacing is very, very, very slow. And then the last episode, everything's done.
So to clarify that, to expand on it, I guess, it's not that like the pacing itself was bad. It's just like, I guess they didn't know what to put in what episodes, if that makes sense. Like,
I just say it was slow.
Well, yeah,
it's timeline.
Well, no, it's not even like it was slow. Like, it was slow in some places, but it was like extremely fast in other places. Like the what's a good one? So the pacing for the whole thing with Bill, right? Like, I enjoyed it, but that dragged on a long time. I think it's actually the longest episode in the season.
It is. That did not need to be a whole episode dedicated to itself. I think at the very least they could have cut out a ton of it and had it be like a back and forth thing, to where it looks like this is Bill's life, like during the same time that they're traveling to see him, and then when they get there, that's the big reveal that everything happened.
But
I think that would have been really cool.
But I did appreciate them expanding on his character. Like, I really did appreciate it. I just wish that it was paced a lot better.
Well,
I did not mind having a Bill-centered episode, but like, there was like almost no Joel or Ellie like at all.
They were right at the beginning of the episode, and that was it. And then, like, actually, no, they weren't even at the beginning of that episode. I think they were right at the end of that episode.
Yeah, they were at the end, and Joel was sprinkled in here and there in flashbacks, and it was fine. But like,
they referenced to him, and he
it was the next episode where they kind of like really started moving and started like getting out of the house and moving on to the next part. So that took place in the next episode.
Then you have the whole thing with the bloater being missing from like that last part, because that was like a big thing.
Yeah, they never went through the school, and like that the bloater was eventually put in there, but I don't think most people realize that's what that was, because it didn't look like the bloater from the game. Remember, David, I pointed out to you, I'm like, hey, David, look,
the big thing?
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I knew is because I saw like someone posted a behind the scenes like TikTok or whatever about it.
I really
there's
didn't think
a
that
lot
was
of
but yeah, that did not look like a bloater.
I thought they just added a new dude. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
No, I would say, to the point of the zombies, probably my biggest gripe with the zombies is, they talk a lot about the cordyceps, and that gets a lot of coverage throughout. And since they made the transition from the spores, because you don't want your actors and actresses wearing gas masks and stuff like that. Okay, cool. That makes sense. I get that. That's practical for live action. But my biggest problem is, like, for a series that's the central focus kind of being like this zombie apocalypse and this outbreak and this pandemic and everything that's taking place, outside of that one scene of the horde of zombies, there were like 4 total zombies in this entire show. There was never really the threat of zombies.
We did clickers like twice.
And even the clickers, like, there was never really, like, obviously, and I get that The Walking Dead has one of their taglines is, avoid fear the living, avoid the dead, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, it basically says that like humanity is your biggest threat as you move to the future in this post-apocalyptic world, so to speak.
And just real quick, it's kind of an addition to your point that you're about to make, because I think I know where you're about to go with it. The whole thing, like, I understand the thing about, like, it is more about the zombie show is more about the people than it is about the zombies. I like understand that, but there's got to be like, got to have some zombie, just a little bit.
and it needed to be, and I think the biggest issue is it needed to be sprinkled in as a looming threat, always present in the background. And that was the part that wasn't there. Every time a zombie showed up, it was like so predictably going to be a zombie.
There were, to be fair though, there were so many times I was expecting a zombie to show up and ruin stuff, and then it didn't. So technically that is unpredictable.
You're right.
They're being unpredictable and not showing up at all.
Right. And see, but to the point where, like, if you have a show that's about because let me tell you something, when you're playing the game, it is not the people you worry about that way.
David, it's like JoJo.
Not in the first one.
How JoJo's not the main character. The zombies aren't the main character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, and the thing is, like, as they do call it The Last of Us, the general theme of both the game and the show really seems to be the humanity and, like the way people deal with their humanity, whether it be the loss of that humanity, the gaining of their humanity, the return of their humanity, the fight for their, like, the way people interact with one another. And while that is a phenomenal aspect and it makes for great drama, the hook of this show was the zombies. The hook of the game was the zombies. And
Excuse me.
not really having that element in was perhaps my biggest gripe. Now, I give them credit. The zombies were there when it mattered.
Yeah.
The cordyceps zombies were there when it was important. Like in the finale, when we had Ashley Johnson. And I will say, when I initially thought that there was like a whole casting issue with Bella Ramsey, seeing Ashley Johnson and Bella Ramsey, like, yeah, those two look like that's mother and daughter. Something happening with their face where it's like long and round and oval and something in the cheeks and chin. It works for them. And I believe that was her mom.
Yeah, I did point out to David, I'm like, that's Ellie's mom, isn't it? She looks like, that is such a gripe for me whenever I watch shows and movies and stuff when they don't look like the
like
parent.
The casting
or the child.
is off because
but
they don't look similar.
This one, for somehow, because she's the actress or the actor, non-binary person that played Ellie has such a unique look to them.
Yeah.
And not by any means, ugly, beautiful, whatever, right? Just a unique look.
Correct.
And I feel like that would be somewhat difficult to cast someone who looks like that as well. So
to find two people.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those things, like if I had a nickel for every time, I'd only have two nickels, but it's weird it happened twice.
Right.
But honestly, that seems to be an HBO thing. They love to cast, once again, not necessarily ugly people, but just unique looking people in their to star in their shows. Like, because look at Game of Thrones again.
Yeah.
It's like one of the only other HBO shows I've watched a lot of, so that's my biggest example to pull from. But yeah, look at a lot of different HBO shows. There's another one, I can't remember what it's called. I watched it, I think, last year. I know they canceled it, which sucks because it was in the middle of nothing. But I don't remember the main girl, but the person who plays her dad was Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Really?
Yeah. It was an interesting show, and same thing, like the woman was interesting looking.
There was
the main character, the main actress
there. They look similar.
Okay. So that seems to be a thing for HBO, because same thing with Pedro Pascal, interesting looking.
Good on HBO not falling into the tropes of beauty standards and going out there and doing what they do and being unique.
The oh god, what was it called? The only one I would argue they kind of went with more like traditional standards of beauty would be in like Lovecraft Country. Everyone was kind of like, technically standardly beautiful to everyone according to like typical societal standards.
Yeah.
That was casted, that one. So
yeah, the actresses of Lovecraft Country, they just
well, actors, actresses, most of the cast there, very conventionally attractive there. But honestly, that kind of stuff can get boring too. So I do appreciate having variety of looks. It makes shows and media in general more believable.
That it does. Like, people that, and not so much like just people that anyone can relate to, but like just not having something that just appears fictional for the sake of it being fictional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are not the kind of people that would exist in these situations or these scenarios. Not to say that pretty people won't be in the zombie apocalypse, but they're not going to be the people we're focusing on. We're going to be looking at the person that can defend themselves, the person with all the weapons and all the guns.
It's like, you remember in like the 2000s and the 2010s, whenever veneers and teeth whitening were all the rage.
Yeah.
Everyone had unnaturally white teeth. Yeah. And if you watch stuff from back then, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think we got used to it at the time, but it doesn't age with everything else because it does stick out so badly. Because it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to have, everyone walking around with super white teeth, especially if they're like, supposed to be playing your average Joe, but they have more money that's gone into making their teeth look a certain way than the average Joe would have in a lifetime.
Yeah. So I don't know. All in all, for the show as a series, I was very impressed overall. We got to the finale, and of course, as I've just kind of been watching on Facebook, on Twitter, on all the different media platforms, everybody's talking about the moral questions of should he, shouldn't he? And it was one of those things where, like, the biggest thing that I saw was everybody was kind of saying, like, it was easy to tell who played the game and who didn't. And the controversy of them, like, oh, now they want to follow the source material. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's crazy because that was one of those things where, like, so my wife didn't actually see me finish the game. She didn't, like, she remembered me playing it. She saw some of it, but just, I was probably off one day when I finished it. So she had never seen the ending of the game and didn't know what was what, or didn't recall, because I'm sure I would like went in there and told her, like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe. And as we were talking, there was like certain parts I was like, this kind of feels like this is from part 2, because I don't really remember this from part 1. It has been a while since I played it, but this doesn't stand out. Other stuff, it was like, oh man, I absolutely know what's gonna happen here. When I saw the Sam and Henry bit, of course, I was like, fingers crossed, it's gonna be different this time. Nope, okay. Thanks. I wasn't, I was hoping, and it wasn't any different. You still got me. You suck for that. It's all good. And then we come to this ending, and it's like, I'm sitting there. I know what's going to happen. She doesn't. So she's watching, and she was like, did you like that ending? And I was like, I mean, I guess I did. I didn't dislike it. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be because I know how it ends. Since she didn't know how it ended, she was just like, she expected something more. And she thought that, like, after they did all of this to get there, that it was going to be something different. I was like, okay, well, also keep in mind that, like, he's now, like, all about Ellie. Like, he's been so cut off for so long. And in this last episode, he opens up to her. He talks to her. He's excited for her. It might even feel too little too late because it's after the whole little part with the weird cult guy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, maybe if that had happened just a little bit before, but even then you're still looking at it's like, well, look at everything Ellie did after he was stabbed and almost died. For her to, like, continue on as she did, it just shows the growth that both of them had as a result and as they go through the series. So you get a little bit of an arc there. I'm not really shocked by the ending because I know what the ending was. The fact that they did it so close to the game and it still looked good was enough for me. I don't really see where all the weird controversy comes from because there again, it just kind of comes down to what it's always been. If you don't understand the point of what's happening, then you just miss the point.
Well, you could also use the argument that maybe they didn't portray the point well enough for people who are not as familiar with the game or have not played the game at all. Because I haven't played The Last of Us since it came out.
Right.
So a lot of this, like, I get the gist of it. I know what happens, yada, yada. And I didn't play Last of Us 2. I know stuff about it. I never got around to playing it. It didn't really, there's a big part of it at the beginning that was already spoiled for me. I think that's what turned me off of it originally. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to play this now because I wasn't looking forward to not playing as the protagonist that I wanted to play as. because they didn't do, in my opinion, they didn't do a good job of transitioning you from one protagonist to the next. Anyway, so are you making noise? What are you making noise, David?
He's not sure if he agrees or disagrees.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. I'm used to you just not agreeing with me on stuff. So that's what makes our marriage spicy.
Okay.
So anyway, like I said, in my opinion, they didn't do a good job of transitioning things. So that goes into a whole other arc that I may end up having to go into with God of War later, depending on how they end up going with that series. So because I still haven't finished Ragnarok, because yay. But like I was saying before, to me it comes down to a pacing issue in that last episode. I think if they could have extended it one more episode to just show have a wind down between how intense the previous episode was, and then really be able to show like Ellie and Joel bonding in that last stretch to get to the hospital, like spent more time on that. And then have everything else, the last episode, be exactly the same. And I feel like that would have communicated the point a little better to audiences who are not familiar with the game, and this is their first exposure.
Sorry, my brother randomly calls me in the middle of the show. I'm like, bro, what did you do? But no, I definitely think that having them have that, you almost need a time for them to not really debrief, but just that little bit of time in the car ride. And then we see them traveling from the car out to the village. And it's just like, there it is, fade to black.
Yeah.
Now it's super accurate because it's the exact way that it happened in the game.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that there definitely needed to be some time for us to kind of process, digest that, and then proceed on to something different.
Especially because of how triggering the previous episode could be. Just for the sake of the viewers, if that kind of if you're triggered by the previous episode, which I'm sure a lot of people are or were, I know you have time in between because you have a week until the next one comes out if you're not binging it, but going from that immediately into the next episode and not really having that wind down time, I think can be a little jarring for the viewer as well. I know even for me, I almost missed those little bits at the beginning where Joel was like starting. I'm like, wait, that's not like Joel. And it might be because TikTok's been shoving Pascal in my face over and over again. He's like the nicest guy who ever lived, aside from like Brendan Fraser. And
he finally got his goddamn statue. He finally got it.
He did. Right. And he should shove it up Hollywood's ass. But
he should.
That's besides the point. But yeah, I think, and like I said, I did play the game. I know what was going to happen next. I knew what was going to happen next. I knew what was going on. There were like details that were missing, and David kind of filled in most of those for me. But even him, and you've played it in the last couple of years, right?
It actually has been maybe like 5.
Okay, but still sooner than like I last played, because the game is 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just think that like just an episode, just for like an endearing little like positive episode kind of thing. They could even like put something else in it where like you open up with like Joel's just happy to have her, but he doesn't know how to deal with her necessarily because she's still shooken up by everything, right? And it kind of helped, they work through the episode with her kind of getting out of her shell for the first half of it, and they come to like a head where Joel finally sits down and with her, and she opens up to him, and they are able to have a really good talk about it. And that's when they have that connection. It's just something that's really well spelled out for audiences, because whenever you're watching something is going to be a completely different way of taking in that information than if you are interacting with it in a different way, like playing a video game. You have more immersion to it. It communicates to you differently than something you're just visually taking in. But yeah, and the last half of the episode could just be them like, being happy and cute and everything and making their way. Maybe have like a little encounter with a bear that's scary or something like that, but that's it.
Well, actually, think about it like this. Like maybe, like yeah, like I said, I'm with you on that. Like maybe just give them another episode, just kind of flesh that part out. But also give it the time and care you did for the Bill episode.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I'm thinking. Is that something
Yeah.
along those lines?
Give it the Bill episode treatment, and you'll knock it out the park every time.
So I mean, like, given that they have the freedom to add in wherever they want to add in and increase wherever they want to increase, they don't have to stay super strict to script because the actual creator is there in a part of the whole thing.
Mhm.
It would definitely make sense, and they would have the free range to do that, and it would be justified in doing that. And as we talk about how they are having that free range, the latest reports, of course, are that season 2, rather than just adapting the second game into season 2, stretching that out into multiple seasons, taking the one game, stretching it out into multiple seasons. On the one hand, automatically feels like a cash grab.
David, why'd y'all go in the circus tower without me?
Oh,
See
I
how it is.
didn't even know you were on.
Yeah, I've been sitting here.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Shit.
Sorry, Sam.
Are we on Final Fantasy there? Is that
Yeah, I didn't know she was on already.
David got a house.
I did. I finally got a house in the game. It only took me like 4 years, but yeah.
David, are you gonna do the meme, the moving furniture meme?
Yes, of course. I'm actually planning that to be a TikTok. that's going to be a thing. I just got to figure out the logistics.
So with them moving into a 2-season setup for the second game, on the one hand, it feels like a cash grab, but it also gives us an opportunity with a lot of the controversy that surrounds the second game.
Yep. And speaking of controversies, it's not a good segue, but I need to find a place to actually put this in here. Sharp-eyed viewers in the last episode, like near the end, will have found an Easter egg if they know their actors and actresses. The voice actress for Abby, Miss Laura Bailey, was one of the doctors at the end of the episode.
Yeah, you catch that in the credits, or you can actually catch that in the after the season finale aired, they came back with the behind the scenes look, and they have that. So for all you Critical Role fans, there you go. Check that out. Enjoy that.
I didn't realize it until like the day after we watched it, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. It was like,
well, see, I heard that there was a special episode that came after the season ended, and then only found out that the special episode was the behind the scenes look episode. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I still sat there for the 30 minutes and watched it. It was enjoyable.
I was gonna say, you know how HBO does. Everything that they create is a special episode.
Right. Well, I mean, it's no different than like, you get to the end of Disney Plus, and get to the end of a Disney Plus series, and then you have like that behind the scenes look and whatnot. Since there is no trailer for the next part to go on, they gave you a whole 30-minute the worst scenes bit.
The worst though is definitely Handmaid's Tale, because Hulu, for some reason, I don't really watch any other Hulu. There's a couple of Hulu originals I watch, but Handmaid's Tale is definitely the biggest one that I watch. And like the beginning of every single episode, unskippable. It's like, I know it's short, it's like 5 seconds, but it's like advertising their behind the scenes look, and make sure you watch the behind the scenes for this every single episode. And I'm like, y'all need to chill, because then they also want to play their little Hulu symbol, and like it takes 15 like 30 seconds to start each episode, and I'm like, okay.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think the idea of them going into 2 seasons for the next game, like I said, it feels like a cash grab, but I wonder if there's something more to it. Maybe the backlash that they've gotten as a result of the way that they handled the last 2 episodes have kind of made them say, you know what, looking at the themes of this next one, maybe we need to, space it out a little bit more.
Yeah, slow it down a little bit
between this and that, because
yeah,
like you take the average play time for these games is like what, 10 hours or so. You know what I'm saying? If you do like main story and
Yeah.
not really focus on all the side quest kind of stuff, you can usually finish these games in like maybe 10 hours. If you go with some hour-long episodes, if you literally cut the fat and just tell, because I feel like you could do the whole cutscenes, and that would be like what, 6 hours?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what they showed us. You know what I'm saying? Cutscenes, ran that, and then they added to that part. So when they get to the next one, they get to like 2, given everything that they're about to have to try to unpack with that, maybe they're stretching it out so that they can have a little time to process these things. And
So
it'll be a different group of people now that they have people who didn't play the games jumping in.
So I did just a quick look on YouTube just to get my number straight, because I wanted to say like a specific number as far as like the length of cutscenes. Like just with no gameplay and just cutscenes, it's just over 5 hours.
Yeah. See, and that's half your season right there.
Yeah.
Because if you take those 5 hours of scenes, record that real time, that's 5 episodes worth of content.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can break that up and then you put in any new original content on top of that. Yeah. And then of course I wonder if they're going to go with like a 9-episode arc, or if they're going to do 10 episodes or anything like that, if any of that will change, because that of course will play a difference. But I guess my biggest concern, the biggest question is this change just for the money, or is it possibly they're going to do something different?
Yeah, like is there a legitimate excuse for it or not?
Right.
And I guess honestly, we'll just kind of have to wait until it comes out to find out.
Yeah.
Because there's no telling what way they're going to try and go with it. But I don't know. I think the things that made the second game more controversial than the first, I don't think they're going to play as big of a role in the show. Number one, because we're not too far out from when the game came out, but we're far enough out.
Yeah.
Despite the seemingly growing hatred, we're seeing more and more acceptance, especially with younger generations with things. So you're not going to have that. And the other issues people had with it were game related, not story related. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah. So actually a thought occurs. Because it's going to be a 2-season thing, right?
At least.
What if the first season focuses on Ellie and the other one focuses on Abby?
That could be it, telling each of their sides.
Yeah.
Like a different perspective kind of thing. Or maybe if they do 1 and 1, get to a halfway point and then do the same thing in season 2 with the 1 and 1.
Right.
So episode 1 would be Ellie, episode 2 would be Abby.
Right.
3 would be Ellie, 4 would be Abby. You get to the halfway point in the season, you've told the story from both sides.
And then they'll have the occasional episodes where both characters are within the same place because they're existing in the same spot at the same time. And that'll be your episode for that. And then they'll go about just, okay, now this is Ellie and now this is Abby and blah, 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 all that.
Yeah, so throw a title card in the front and say, give us time and date.
Yeah.
And show like whose perspective. Or, like TV shows like to do like lighting cues or something like that. Like, oh, everything had a blue hue to it. So it's because I'm trying to like think of that image towards the I feel like there was some weird lighting happening at the end of the game. And it was like one of those things where it was like the blue light was Ellie and the red light was Abby kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe they do something like that. And you can just kind of tell which episode you're watching. And then they'll do this weird thing where it's purple when they're both there. And it'll switch back and forth between. I don't know. There's a number of ways they could go with it, a number of ways they could do it. I'm curious to see. Again, it's just like with the controversy they have surrounding people's reaction to the season finale, and then announcing that season 2, well, the second game will be broken up into multiple seasons, it just really has me wondering like what exactly was the plan there. Why are we changing? Why is the format changing?
It could also be a thing where they always had some sort of a contract set up where they were absolutely going to do they're going to portray both games, right, no matter what.
Right.
And it could have been a thing where if the reception for the first season did well enough, they would break up the second season into two. And if it didn't do well enough, they would still fill out their contractual obligation
for the first for that additional season
to make the second season, but it would cover the full second game and they'd be done with it.
Yeah. You can also look at it, it's like maybe they're course correcting, but maybe they're course correcting a little too hard. I don't know. Just because of the pacing issues, maybe they're doing the multiple seasons, I guess, for game 2, to make sure they can give everything the time that it deserves. But if that's the case, then I feel like they're course correcting in the wrong direction.
Right.
Like they need to be careful, because that was like one of the biggest sins of like the earlier seasons of Walking Dead, where it dragged out so long. Like the second season should have been covered in like 3 episodes, not the whole second season. Oh my god. But yeah, that was like that's one of the reasons why I kind of dropped off of Walking Dead a while later, but still later. Because it continued to have kind of weird pacing things going on, and part of it's because they branched off from the original story. And part of it was they just didn't know how to expand the content like that. So like what would be one season for like the comics, or one section for the comics, they couldn't really do that to fill a whole season.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of the stuff that happened in The Walking Dead,
they made a lot of questionable changes to the
I was about to say their biggest issue was their source material.
Like the only good thing that happened to the show that didn't happen to
what's going on, Mark?
For a change was Daryl, and even they even screwed Daryl up.
Yeah. And the only other good thing that came out is they like, we're just gonna put Negan in everything. Like why is Negan a character in Tekken 7? Why?
Like Negan was such a great character, but there can be too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I don't know. I actually dropped off of the comics too for Walking Dead. They started to stagnate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they did. They
got really good towards the end. So
okay, I didn't like it because I know they did Andrea so dirty in the show though.
Yeah, they did.
They did her. They you know what they did Lori dirty as well.
Yeah.
But from what I understand,
writers for the show must hate women. So
from what I understand with Lori, like part of why Lori's transition took place became from like contract negotiations kind of falling apart.
Yeah. And they're like, you know what? Let's do the same thing with at least one woman in every season, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
You'd have a woman.
Michonne held on to the end. And,
yeah.
You know.
They didn't do it to Michonne, but like every single other woman, like you always had to have, like you could have one woman who was mostly in the background or typically made smart decisions and wasn't a pain in the butt, who wasn't a bitch. All of a sudden, when the show's bitch dies, they turn her into the new bitch. And that's what happened with Andrea. After Lori died, Andrea was the next one. After Andrea met her unfortunate end, they changed it to Carol. They keep and none of these women were like that before. They were fine.
Yeah, Carol had a weird
what happened
shift. Like, that was weird.
And like, it was I like the whole thing with Rick and Andrea. It really like gave her character more depth instead of just devolving into the bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing that I can say honestly that I liked more about, well, not even more, but one of the things that I did like about The Walking Dead was like at any time a zombie did actually show up in The Walking Dead.
Well, yeah, and because the changes in the show, we never got to see Ezekiel and Michonne.
Yeah.
And that would have been so great, but no. because they killed off Andrea. Rick has to have a love interest, so there we go. They killed off all the other women that were, within his age range of dating, and was acceptable looking enough.
I didn't stick with The Walking Dead that long. That's why when we had The Last of Us come through, I was like, you know what? I'm all in for this. I know what's going on. I'm excited for this. I needed more zombies, and I didn't have as many zombies as I thought I was going to have. The few times we did see them, they were kind of like in and out, and I really wanted to.
I mean, thinking about it more, like, to be honest, the zombies weren't really a huge focus in the game either.
Yeah.
It was a lot of exploration and a lot of cutscenes and a lot of story. And you had
bandits,
zombies.
A lot of raiders.
Yes, lots of real people too. I think zombies were kind of downgraded to maybe a third, if not less, of like the things you actually fought or had to be wary of.
I still feel like when you have a game with zombies in there, zombies need to always be a lingering threat in the background at the very least. When you see them, like, because it's kind of like an argument can be made that, well, if this is the amount of zombies we actually have to worry about, no, why kill Ellie off? It's not necessary because there's clearly no. If you could literally just like set it up and maybe get these few little patches taken care of, they'd be gone. There'd be nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But it's like, because it's like, who are you making a vaccine for? For all these shitty people that have remained and lived at this point? I don't know if we want to save those people because these people suck.
I was about to say, I feel like the best people that would survive in something like that are the worst of humanity, or would be the worst of humanity, because the best of them would end up being killed off by the worst of them.
And that's, the name of it is called The Last of Us. Not all of us surviving the apocalypse. The Last of Us. Because it just goes to show, like, you got to do some shit to make it, to survive, to get through. And, that was one of the things where it was really interesting how people really got all up in arms about, oh, I can't believe he would do that after all of that. It's like, have you not been, like, listening or paying attention the entire show, even if you didn't play the game?
Like, every other line of Joel's was, I'm such a horrible person.
Right. They've gone out of their way to explain how, like, innocent people had been killed. The stuff that he and Tommy did to stay alive. The stuff that, he used to do with, what's her name?
David, what's the name of the chick? It starts with, with a T?
The one, Tess. Thank you. Tess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The stuff that he used to do with Tess and how they did what they had to do to get along. And, because of that, we kind of have this clear understanding of the kind of people that they are. And it's literally just the fight for survival. As you move forward and you now have an opportunity, you can go to this town where maybe you don't have to fight that way to survive because life is, for lack of a better phrase, thriving. You go to like that one community where they find the brother and his wife, and you're like, okay, so everything isn't crappy. But then you go out somewhere and you see that like it is crappy everywhere else, and you're like, oh yeah, it is still kind of shitty out here. But it's only because raiders are out here. Where are the freaking zombies that you have to worry about? No hordes are coming to attack this town. And if you're not having hordes to attack the town.
Actually, like, thinking about it more, I think one of the reasons why in how they have the universe designed that way is because it's so far beyond in the zombie apocalypse that there just aren't going to be a lot of zombies left. But there's also not enough humanity left to be able to take out the pockets of zombies that are there. And so It continues to be a threat that they're continuing to try and fight. And eventually, if the humans can just survive long enough with as few of them as possible, turning, then they can eventually outlive as mankind from the zombies.
Herd immunity, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, one of the things I do love, I do love that this show portrayed very, very well, in my opinion, is the whole thing of morale isn't black and white. and your choices sometimes are not always black and white.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be something they continue, or they heavily lean into more and more as the next 2 seasons come out. For those of you guys who know how the game goes, you understand why. Because that's something, it was kind of a continuing like theme, just like swirling around in the background of almost every single episode.
Yeah.
Of, hey, this person did really horrible things, but these are the reasons for them. And here we're going to humanize this character so you can really connect with them. And then they do the complete opposite with someone else. Look at how horrible and or look at how good this person is. Just like the best person ever. And they have this thriving community that they have, but they're a pedo. So like it shows that there's but it's like, yes, he's a pedo, but he's kept a thriving community together.
Yeah. So yeah,
but they're also cannibals, but at least they're still alive. But so it's just a lot of butts.
Yeah.
I will say for the cannibal part, a lot of the people didn't know they were cannibals. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the priest or the pastor himself.
Oh yeah.
Specifically. So these are the things with him. Like, well, yes, he's a pedo and a rapist, but
he's also to keep dozens of people alive.
Yeah, he's
in
kept
a literal
like,
zombie
so many
pandemic.
people alive in this, and like he saved so many lives. But
he
also feeds them human flesh. But he makes sure to protect and get revenge for people that get hurt in his community.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of butts.
It's so easy to see the world in black and white, but there are gray pockets there that you don't really know how to handle.
Like with as much as was alluded to Joel as well, it made me even think, like, towards the end, I'm like, they could put together a whole episode where you just have like these characters that are just like they were like severely hurt in some way, shape, or form by someone. They won't say who the name is, and they build to it this hatred, this animosity, the whole episode. And at the end, you figure out it's Joel and Tess. And so that would have been an interesting kind of filler episode if they did something like that as well. Just to, if they wanted to feed more into that kind of feeling they had around.
I mean, well, even the time you spend in the QZ in the game towards the beginning before you actually start the quest with Ellie, what I'm saying? There's a little bit of time there that they could have, they technically could have like maybe done another, like one more full episode in the QZ just to like really build that world out a little bit better. But as you get into the society, you get out to the wilderness and whatnot, you kind of see it there. Oh my God, my cat.
That would have been a cool like flashback episode or something, because I feel like they couldn't do it too early in the show because they really want to like establish you having that connection with Joel and you really feeling that, and so they just throw that later on, and it would also kind of be able to bring Tess back as like a guest star kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought having the relationship between Tess and Joel as strong as it was a little interesting, where it was kind of like Tess was the leader and Joel was the bodyguard, just a hired muscle, but to have them kind of like they were partners, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Good build up, good lead up.
They were partners, but not like that, because Joel is emotionally closed off and angry still.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the part, like, so if he's such a hard ass and doesn't care about anybody, when she dies, he should have like just been like, oh well, sucks for you. But he wasn't like that. And okay, you know what? I get what you're trying to show, but you're forgetting about the stuff that you showed me. So pick one, stick with that.
I think in that motion they were trying to show that he's not his humanity he had before, ever, like his daughter passed away, is still there somewhere. And even if he was trying to, and I think that was kind of alluding to eventually him opening up to Ellie. And it's kind of a good throwback there.
Yeah. Well, that whole little segment right there was good. It was a good transition for the character and to move forward. and it gave some good banter between him and Ellie. Like, you know, don't blame me for something I had nothing to do with. You know. Bella Ramsey grew on me. She actually did a great job as Ellie, and you know, I was with you by like the second or third episode, her weird look didn't bother me, and she became more of what I expected Ellie to look like. And so even when I saw the little cut scenes,
oh yeah, no, the attitude was there 100%.
Of the comparison, you know what I'm saying? Like, and hopefully she won over everyone else who was watching and like had all the major issue. Because again, the first couple episodes, I was like, she looks odd. But
David,
like
why are you in Tam-Tara now?
I'm just running this real quick for my book.
Softened her up a little bit. I don't even know if they softened her up. They just made Ellie her. Or as I got to seeing her more as Ellie, it was better. I don't know. Something worked out. I'm good with Bella Ramsey. Looking forward to season 2 and/or 3, however they decide to go with it and do it. And I'm good with the way it wrapped up because that's the way it wrapped up in the game, and it was true to the source material. So I don't know what people are complaining about. You can't follow the source material and make people happy. You can't change the source material and make people happy. You just damn if you do, damn if you don't. People gotta hate. But we've discussed that as well, how much people gotta hate. Well, folks, I appreciate everybody being with us. That is going to do it. Today's episode was FanCastIt, and I had some thoughts on The Last of Us. I want to thank David and Linda for hopping on here to just join us as we discuss The Last of Us. I want to thank Jeffrey for sticking through and being a part of our FanCastIt. We talked about THUNDERCATS, gave me some great clips, and slight congratulations to him and his casting because apparently my cousin is only interested. Didn't say anything about my movie. Loved his movie. Was even okay with Ty's movie. Had nothing to say about my movie, but it's all good. She jumped.
Really be your own.
Right, it'd really be your own people, man. You know, but she did share the stream, and she's posted us a couple times on her lives when she's on TikTok. So much appreciated. If Jeff just got to keep making movies for her, that works for me. Whatever gets us out there. Want to thank everybody who had an opportunity to tune in. Everybody who had a comment to put in there. Don't forget, every Wednesday we do this. It's usually around 9. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock, 9:15, no later than 9:30. Really, we try to be in here and get in here and say what we got to say. Next week, technically, would be. I guess next week would be fourth, and so next week would be the music special. So next week we will talk music. We will hash out some ideas. I know we had discussed a few things we wanted to discuss regarding music. We've already kind of made a playlist. I've actually been enjoying that playlist, by the way. But we made a playlist previously, and I think we were going to talk about some theme songs, maybe anime, movies, cartoons, etc. Like theme songs is going to be, but we'll hash it out. Just be sure to check back with us next week to be a part. That's going to be our show for Linda, David, Jeffrey, and our special guests Ty and True. We are Grown A Geeks. We thank you for being here. Be sure to click the QR code, subscribe, and like. We will see you next week. But for today, we are out of here. Peace.